So now we're seeing that Johnny has said that BAO takes the fun out of everything. Like when they're looking at the new apartment and she's like, I don't like electric cooktops and the vent fan doesn't actually blow anywhere except for back into the kitchen and there's no ice machine. And Johnny's like looking askance at her like she's being a pill. And he says in the little talking head that he thinks she's taking the fun out of everything. And then later says to Pastor Cow that she's too silly, and that's a turnoff for him. So maybe make up your mind there, Johnny.
Make up your mind,
It's
Johnny.
not that hard.
Not that hard.
Not that hard.
Maybe it is. You definitely have OCD based on only what the DSM defines OCD as, so... That's upside down. I can tell.
No,
Wait,
it's
no,
not.
it isn't.
No,
It's backwards because of the TV.
It's how cameras work.
No, it's because it's on the TV.
See? I'm not gonna read this. He has OCD. I am not a doctor. Just watch him. You can see him.
Okay, I found it. It's error-related hyperactivity of the anterior cingulate cortex and obsessive-compulsive disorder. And this is from 2005 in the Journal of Biological Psychiatry, February 1st. This is Kate Fitzgerald, Robert Welsh, William Gearing, James Abelson, Joseph Himmel, Israel Lieberson, and Stephen Taylor. Cool. What a fun team. I hope they worked well together and they were all best friends. They did functional MRI data and they looked at 8 different OCD patients. So functional fMRI studies are normally really, really small because a functional MRI machine is very, very, very expensive. So you can't really do a whole lot of patients. And the margin of error is a lot smaller because you're not asking people to fill out a checklist. You're looking at the activity of their brain while it's happening. So cool. 8 people is actually a ton for this kind of study. And they looked at event-related data collected from 8 OCD patients and 7 healthy subjects. So they had OCD subjects and then healthy subjects, and I bet they compared the data. That's probably what they did. Cool. So they did a performance of a simple cognitive task designed to elicit errors, but not OCD symptoms. Interesting. The results say both OCD patients and healthy subjects demonstrated dorsal anterior cingulate cortex activation during error commission, so when errors were happening. Omission, not happening. Commission, happening. We don't normally use the opposite of omission in everyday speech, but I bet these friends do. The OCD patients exhibited significantly greater error-related activation of the rostral anterior cingulate cortex than the comparison subjects. Activity in this region was positively correlated with symptom severity in the patients. So, in conclusion, error processing abnormalities within the rostral anterior cingulate cortex occurs in the absence of symptom expression with OCD. No, hold on. Read that again. Both OCD patients and healthy subjects demonstrated dorsal ACC activation during errors. So there were errors, and then they were like, this part of our brain is being activated because we're seeing errors. And that was for both groups. Okay, I'm here so far. The OCD patients exhibited significantly greater error-related activations of the rostral, so dorsal rostral, ACC than the comparison subjects. Activity in this region was positively correlated with symptom severity in the patients. So everybody had activation in their dorsal anterior cingulate cortex. They were like, that's an error. That's the part of my brain where I look at errors. Error, error, error. I'm looking at an error. I'm activating. That's all happening. Okay, that makes sense. people with OCD had activation also in the rostral anterior cingulate cortex. So this part and this part, and people that had more severe OCD symptoms also had more event-related MRI activation in their rostral anterior cingulate cortex. Basically, the rostral anterior cingulate cortex looks different for people with OCD than people with not OCD. When they're looking at stuff that's wrong, they're just like, is wrong, and like a whole, they like feel it and understand it in their brain in a way different way than people without OCD. Interesting. Cool.